Just to recollect you, on the previous session we have discussed about the syntaxes, right? How to create the database, how to create the schema and file formats. Okay. Today what we will do is we'll try to load data. We'll try to load the data into. We'll create one table and try to load data into table using the web UI. Okay. We have a different ways of loading data into tables. Today we will discuss about the loading data with web UI, how we are going to load data with the web UI, and then we will move on discussion to the we'll try to install SnowSQL and we'll try to configure and start using the SnowSQL. This will be the objective for today's session. And from tomorrow, the next session would be like how we are going to load data from the SnowSQL. There is a commands like put and get. What is the objectives of put command? Why you are going to use the get command? Tomorrow we will discuss. Okay, today we will try to load the data into table using the web UI and we will install the SnowSQL. SnowSQL is a command line interface where we try to interact with the Snowflake using the command line interface. Okay. Okay. So just to recollect you back, just to recollect the previous session, this is the what we have discussed about the database, how we are going to syntax for the database creation, syntax for the schemas creation, and syntax for the file format. Okay. So today what we are going to do is we will create one database, one schema, and one table, and we will load the data into table using the web UI. Okay, I have three different. We will try to load three different tables, which are the comma separated, tab separated, and as well as a pipe separated. These are the tables which I have. Sorry. Okay, this is the CSV file, which is the file which is separated by comma. If you can see, we have these are the columns: serial number, ID, employees, GIP, country, tax percentage. These are the columns, and we have the different records here, which every record is separated by the every record is, I mean to say one record is separated with a slash and new line, and each one is separated with each field is separated with a comma. Okay, this is one file that we are going to load, and there is another file which is separated by a pipe. These are separated by a pipe character. Fields are separated by a pipe character. These file we are going to load into our table, and there is another file which is separated by a tab space. Okay, this is separated by a tab space. These files we are going to load into Snowflake. Okay. Okay, let's now. So I don't have now. Let us create one. This is the as discussed. This is enough to create the database. Now let us create the database. If you can see here, create or replace the database. If the first TB database is already exist, then what will happen? This replace keyword. If it is exist, then it will replace. If it doesn't exist, it will create the new database. Just click here. It will be created. See if you can see the status. Database first TB created successfully. So that database must be displayed here. Just click on three dots and refresh it. If you can see here, the first database is created with the two schemas. One is the internal information schema, which contains all the views about this particular database. We can look into the copy history. It will be for all the future reference. All the views will be present in the information schema. There is another schema which is a public. Public doesn't contain anything. We can create all the tables, objects here. If required, we can create this. We can rename this public schema, or else we can create the new schema here as per our requirement. So if you want to replace the schema here, if you can see here, if you want to create a new schema, just execute create or replace schema as first schema. Okay, if you want to replace the public schema into as per first schema, just you can alter it. Alter is nothing but a changing, right? You can change this one, alter schema public, rename to first schema. I'm executing this. So here public must be renamed to first schema. If you can see here, first schema is available. Okay, then moving to the then we are going to create the file formats. You are going to see here, we are going to create the file format, CSV file format. Here the schema is not, so here I am using the first schema here. We need to determine the what is the schema that we need to use. Earlier it was public, right? So I'm modifying it to first data in the first database. In first schema, I am going to create this file format. Okay, that is what the error is. Here the file format created successfully, and similarly I'm going to create the pipe file format. This is all the syntax which we have discussed yesterday. Okay, for the pipe, if you for all the structured files, it is going to be a CSV file. If it is a though the file is the tab separated content details contains with the tab separated, comma separated, or pipe separated, it's going to be a CSV file. Okay, here we are what is the delimiter? It's a here it's a pipe, here it's a tab space. Okay, now we have successfully created the three different file formats. I'm going to create the our first table. This is what the see if you can see the data. We have a columns like serial number, ID, employees, chip, country. We have a 6 different columns. So here I have given the 6 different create a replace table first table with the 6 different columns. Okay, just I am executing this. Our table will be created. Just click on 3 dots and refresh it. Here, move to the first schema. We have tables here, right? First table is available, and we have a file format. So it's created file CSV file format. 1 second. Yeah, if you can see here, first table is available, CSV file format, pipe file format, and tab file format is available, and the first table that we have created now. Okay, if you click on, if you hover here, if you click on the definition, you can see what is the definition that you have created, that we have used to create this particular table. Okay, so what we have done is we have created one database, and we have created one schema. Under schema we have a schema is nothing but a collection of all the different database objects like task, pipe, streams, views, file formats, tables. All these are the database objects. Even materialized views, all these are going to be database objects. All are going to store collection of. It's all the schema is nothing but a collection of all database objects. If you can see, we have a tables and file formats as of now. Over a period of time, we will add multiple database objects. Okay. Now we will try to move. We will try to load data into this first table using these particular three formats, whatever the files that are available in our system. So okay, so just want to explain you. So we have a multiple ways of data. I will explain it here. So we have a different types of data loading, right? Today we are discussing about how we are going to load data using the web UI, and we will discuss how we are insert records into table. Next, actually we can load data using the SnowSQL. Okay, using the SnowPipe. These are all different ways. Now we are discussing about how we are going to load data using the web UI. Okay, for that web UI to load data into web UI, just select the databases from the navigation panel. Click on database. So we are using the first DB which we have created now. Select that particular database, and that we are using the first schema where our table is present. Select the table and select the first table where we need to load data. Okay, this is the particular table where we want to load data. This is the table definition. Okay, on the top we have a data. Okay, just select this load data. You have an option to browse where you can select the file. Okay, so when loading the data using the web UI, the recommendation is that the file must contain the data up to 50 MB. If it is from the stage could be like any of the stage, like user, table, internal named or external stage. It could be the fact file size limit will be 250 MB. Okay. Now let us click on browse. Select the first CSV. This is the file that I am trying to load. This is the first CSV. Click on open. Just the size and the file which we want to load got selected here. Okay. Now click on next. It will ask for the file format. If there is a file, if you recollect, we have already created 3 different file formats. If there is no, if you haven't created any of the file formats, then we can select from here. Okay. Guys, give me a minute, guys. Just give me a minute. Yeah, sorry, guys. So we have created all the file formats earlier. If these file formats were not created, so we can create directly file format here itself. What is the file format that we are going to load? So we have created file format. Just I am picking from the database. Okay, CSV file format. Here it is asking.
Mohan, what we select?
Yeah, here actually we have created the file formats, right? Earlier in the worksheet, these are the different. So this file format is nothing but what is the file we are going to load the files, right? We are going to load the data from the files, right? These files will have a different kinds of formats, like CSV files. We have a JSON for the semi-structured data. So we have already created the file format, CSV file format, PY file format, tab file format. If we haven't created the file format, we can generally pick from here. If it is if you haven't done it earlier, just I'm clicking here. If considering you haven't done here, so it will give up the fields. Whatever the fields that was present while creating the SQL, all these fields will be present here. We can select from, we can customize it. Skip the first line. If it is a header, you can skip it. How it is delimited? It's a comma delimited. Trim space, you can give it whether we need to trim the space or not. So this is the same syntax. I will show you here. Remember the words here: data stamp, timestamp format, and the header file delimiter, right? If you move the worksheets, sorry, syntax worksheet, the fields will be similar. Yeah, field delimiter, record delimiter, the auto compression. These are the fields which will be shown up. These are the file format options, right? These few file format options will be shown while create. We can create directly over in the while loading the data, or whatever the file format that we have created earlier can be used. Okay. Hope you got it. Hello.
Yeah, Mohan, I was disconnected actually. That's
Okay.
what.
Okay. So did you understand actually the file format, right? You have a file format
No,
option.
I missed that chance because I disconnected.
Okay, got it. Okay, see, just I will show you again. Remember these fields, right? The file delimiter, skip header. These are the fields we used, right, while creating the file format. If we haven't created file format earlier, directly we can create while loading the file using the web UI. Okay, these fields are right, skip header, field delimiter, right?
Which one is going to create use when well like if you not create the file, well selecting that which one you're going to use, JSON or CSV XML?
Yeah,
So which one
whatever.
going to use,
Actually, we
Mohan?
have the CSV file. So I am trying to load the CSV file, right? Here it's our file is separated by commas. It's a CSV file. So we need to choose CSV. If it is a JSON file,
Okay.
then we need to choose JSON. Whatever the file which you are going to load into table, it has certain formats, right? So we need to choose that particular format.
Yeah, actually, yesterday I was trying to like earlier it's having COVID, right? Just we have a database in that
Yes, 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 yeah.
Snowflake, public.
Hmm.
So I was actually trying to use it yesterday. So
Okay.
I did have a little bit doubts. That's why I just
Okay.
I'll pin you after this meet.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, you can text me. Okay. Yeah, got it. So as of now, so let us yeah, moving forward. Just I'm picking the, yeah, we have the first table. Just click on the load data. If you click here, just click on the browse. We have the first CSV. Just select the file that you want to load and click on open. Whatever the file that we have selected that we want to load the data, that file is selected. Just click on next. So it will ask to choose the file format. We have a multiple different file formats. These are the different files which Snowflake supports. You can load the files from CSV file data into Snowflake, JSON, Parquet, Arrow, ORC, XML. Okay. So as of now, we are using the delimited files, flat files in a CSV or TSV, right? Currently, we are dealing with the only delimited files. These are all semi-structured data. We will try to complete all the structured data, then we will move on to the semi-structured data. Okay, now let's these delimited files. We are selecting the CSV file format. Select the CSV file format, and it is going to ask, Snowflake is going to ask you what I will try to load the data in a particular CSV format. What I want to do if I encounter any error. There is a two chances that is shown up here. It is different when loading with the external stages and internal stages, but particularly when loading with a web UI, we have only two options. One is either you can abort this and don't load any kind of data, or load all the valid data and ignore the errors. Okay, these are the two options we have. And while working with the external stage and internal stages, it's a different, we have another few options. Okay, now as of now, loading with the web UI, we have only two options: either to load the data, but either to ignore all the data once you encounter an error. On error, abort entire statement, don't load any kind of data. On error, continue with the valid data and don't load errors. Okay, now I'm choosing, as I know about my data, it doesn't contain any error. So on error, I'm choosing to not to load any kind of data. Just clicking on load. If you see here, I have a 60 records of data. I have 60 records of data. 61, one is a header. We have skipped the headers. We have a 60 records of data. We have loaded all the 60 rows were loaded successfully into the table. Just you can query it. Click on select query. New session will be opened. If you can see here, we are not picking up anything. Right? Just run this. So 60 records are loaded. Okay. This is how you are going to load the data from WebUI. This is the one of the example for CSV file. Similarly, we have a file which contains the tab separated and pipe separated. The process is very similar. Let's load those two tables as well. The process is similar. We'll go to this is the web UI. The limitation to load and the recommendation to load was 50 MB of data. If it is we are more than 50 MB, then we are going to work with the stages: user stage, name stage, internal name stage, and external stage. We have a table stage as well. I will explain you. We will download we'll install, configure the SnowSQL and start using it. Tomorrow we will try to load the files from SnowSQL as well. Okay. Now we'll go to the first schema. Similar. The process is very similar, loading the web UI from the first table. Okay, this is the table, right? Just click on browse. So here I'm selecting this is the format if you can see here, this is the file which contains the pipe separated. Just click on open. The file will be selected. Click on next. Here we are going to choose the file format. There is a pipe separated, right? Select the pipe separated. So I don't want to load any kind of data if it get any error. Just load it. Okay, 60 rows got selected. Done. Click on done. It will be there. Okay, data preview, we can see only maximum of 100 rows. We cannot see beyond that, but our table contains as of now 120 rows. Okay, next, similarly, let's try to load the data from the tab separated files. If you can see it, this is a tab separated. Just click on open. Sorry, already we have this session, right? So we need to have total 180 records, right? See, you have 180 records. Okay, if you want to get the entire data, give it as a star. You can play with it actually. You can work with the. So this is, we have a three different, we have routed multiple three times, right? We have a three records, right? So you can play with it actually. You can apply the different filters. You can do this thing. Okay, this is how we are going to load the data using the web UI. There is another way to insert the record. So let us create one second. The second way is, you can create a, let's create one table. Okay, I'm just creating the basic table details, serial number and name. Okay, usually this is not, just I'm trying to explain, this is also one of the way where we can insert the records. We can insert directly using the insert command. So I'm executing this here. Now if you are going to select star details. So this is the another way where we can load the table data into tables, but this is not recommended as data warehousing, it contains millions of records. This is one of the way, if you want to insert any of the record, we can insert in this way as well. Now the web UI, we can work with, you can deal and work only with when the file size is going to be a 50 MB. Let us assume that we have a bigger sizes, right? We have a 1 GB of file. Then we cannot load 1 GB of file directly. The recommendation from the Snowflake is try to load the files with a 250 MB. If the file is going to be above 50 MB, we need to load from the stages. It could be internal stage, external stage, different stages, right? One second. I will explain you the concept, how you are going to load using the, how today we will try, we have a two different stages like internal stage and external stage. As we discussed, hope everyone able to recollect internal stage and external stage. External stage, we can going to work with AWS. Okay. In internal, we have a three different stages: user stage, table stage, and internal named stage. Okay. User stage and table stage, we use the command put. The put command work only using the SnowSQL. Today we will install the SnowSQL and we will try to load more. We'll try to load files into SnowSQL and load into the table. Okay. Before that, I will explain you the concept like what do you mean by a user stage and table stage. So, so if you are able to see my screen means, we have a local file system, right? From the, what we have done now, we try to load from our local, you hope everyone able to understand what you mean by local means our laptop. From our local file, I tried to upload from directly using the web UI. I tried to load that particular file into the database tables. Okay, this can be done only if the file size is up to 50 MB. Okay, let us consider a scenario where our file size have beyond 50 MB till 200 MB, 180 MB like that. In that case, what we need to do is we need to pick these data files and we need to put it into a, put is a command where it picks the data files from our local system and it will move into the either internal named stage or into the table stage or into the user stage. Then using the virtual warehouse, we are going to using the copy into command. This copy into command is a very powerful command. You need to understand. Tomorrow I will explain you the clear syntax how we are going to. We have a multiple lot of parameters. I will pick every parameter and I will try to explain every parameter. You need to understand each and every parameter coming to the copy into command. Okay, using the copy into command, it will be loaded into a particular table. The objective, so it could be any of the stage. It could be user stage, or it could be a table stage, or it could be internal layout stage. So the objective here is we are going to pick the files. We are going to pick the files and we are going to copy the data into a particular table. Okay, so as if you are able to recollect based on our discussion from the previous class, here we have a 3D. You can see three different stages, which are internal named stage, table stage, and user stage. So whatever the data files that we put into this user stage, okay, if he has the access for multiple tables, and the files which are present in the user stage is need to required to load into different tables, then he can load into different tables. Okay, coming to the table stage, we are going to load data files into particular table stage. So if you can see here, we are going to attach, let's consider it as a attaching file to this particular table, and these files will be loaded in whatever the files attached to this particular table. This will be picked and loaded into only one table. It cannot load from the table stage. The files which are present in the table stage cannot be loaded into different tables. It must be loaded into single table for which it got attached. Okay, that is the difference. Whereas in the internal named stage, everyone can access, who multiple users can access this named internal stage, and it can be loaded into the different tables. Okay, hope everyone is able to get it. If not, while working practically, you may get the difference. So general understanding is that when the size is going to be a 50 MB, which files cannot be loaded using the web UI, we will go start working with the SnowSQL. SnowSQL, we will try to load the files from data. They will load the data files into an internal named stage or table stage and user stage. Then using the copy into command, we will move into a particular table. Okay, this is what the this is what happens in during the entire process. Okay, now let us try to install configure the SnowSQL. Okay, first let me uninstall the SnowSQL which I have. So now currently I don't have the SnowSQL installed. So to download the SnowSQL, first move to SnowSQL. We have the this is the path to get SnowSQL get downloaded. So this is the SnowSQL download, right? Just based on your system, if it is a Linux, Unix, Mac OS, just if you download all versions, click on the Windows. My system is Windows, so I'm picking Windows. This is the latest version. Okay, click on this. Yeah, the downloads had started. Sorry. Download has completed. Just I'm moving to the downloads. This is the path where the SnowSQL get installed. Just click on install. Okay, so this is how we are going to complete the SnowSQL setup wizard. Open a new terminal. So if you are going to give here, right, SnowSQL -a icon name, user login name, you need to provide these, and you can connect to the SnowSQL. Just I'm clicking on finish. If you open the command line, so just type the SnowSQL. So SnowSQL got installed. Let us, we need to validate whether the snake JSON was installed or not. So this is the version, right? If you can see, this is the version that we have downloaded 1.2.3.1. So we need to understand 1.2.3.1. You need to understand what is this 1.2.3. Here, one means this is going to be a it's like major version, have three separations, right? Let me this, it's like major version dot minor version dot patch. So one is going to be a major version, two is going to be a minor. It's a, in the first major version it's a, and it's a second minor version from the first major version, and it's a 31st patch that got updated. Okay, this is what the understanding. So what happens is, if you are going to get the major update, if it is going to be a minor patches, like next version would be like 32, next it will be like 33. If the patches is going to get changed, it, our SnowSQL which is present, SnowSQL which is present in our in our system will get automatically upgraded. Okay, whereas the Snowflake recommendation is, even if the minor version or the major version get changes, then you need to download again the new SnowSQL and install it. Okay, for this, for these patches, if it is going to be 32 33, it will get automatically incremented. Okay, how it can be this, one second. Under users, SnowSQL will be installed. We have an auto upgrade, right? Using this auto upgrade, when there is a new patches, if there is a new patches, it will get auto upgraded. Even the minor version will also get auto upgraded, but the Snowflake recommendation is, whenever you see the update in the minor version also, you kindly download the SnowSQL again and install it and configure it again. Okay, this is how, this is what the meaning of our version. Okay, 1.2.3.31, like that. Currently we are using the major version 1 and the minor version 2 and the patch 31. Okay, this is how it is. So this is what the version that we have installed. Okay, now let's try to connect to the SnowSQL. So in order to connect to the SnowSQL, the syntax is like this: SnowSQL -a. It's going to be a account name, username. So from where we can get this account name is, if you can, on our trial version, just click on the left panel, click on here, account. If you can hover here, you can copy account identifier. You can copy, if you can copy the account identifier, account identifier get copied. Just navigate here, paste here. So it will be copied as a dot. Remove the dot and place as a hyphen. Okay, remove dot. If you can see here, remove the, we need to remove the dot and we need to use the hyphen. Then username. Similarly, username we have provided, we have provided username. While just click on my profile, you will get the username avian tech. Okay, this is what the username is. Okay, Now let's execute this command SnowSQL. This is the account that we have to connect, and this is what our username is. Okay. It will ask for the password. Provide the password. So if you can see here, it got connected to the SnowSQL. So AVN Tech is our user. Compute Warehouse is the warehouse that I am using. If you can see from the Compute Warehouse is the warehouse that I am using. Okay. So there is no, it haven't selected any of the database or any of the schema. So just I am trying to use database. First database is the database that we have created. Right? Just click enter. If you can see here, if you notice from this command to this command, statement got executed successfully and it got changed to first DB. First DB is the database that we are going to use here. Okay. Similarly, we are going to use schema. First schema is the schema that we have created. So if you can see here, AVN Tech is the user. Compute, we are using the compute warehouse to execute, to utilize the first DB as the database and first schema as the schema. Okay, let us create one table. Table AVVD created successfully. This table must be present in the web UI as well. Just go here, refresh it. AVVD. Okay, this is what the definition that we have used while creating in the SnowSQL. So SnowSQL is the command line interface where we try to connect with the Snowflake and we'll try to perform all the DML DDL operations. Okay, there are few limitations. It could be very minor. You can explore that later. Actually, whatever the task that can be performed using the web UI, it can be performed using the SnowSQL command interface as well. This is how we are going to connect with the. We are going to install the SnowSQL and connect using the -a command. Instead of that, we can correct directly using, if you can modify the config file, we can connect directly. Okay, let me open the config file and explain you what it contains. This is the config file, right? Select it. Just you can edit with a notepad plus plus. So okay, already I have, due to metadata cache, actually due to cache it's using, actually this is what the updated one it's showing it. So if you can see here, we have a fields like account name. I'm going to give the account name. Whatever the account name that we are going to use, we are going to give the account name. Whatever the username that we have, we need to specify the username here. Okay. Then we need to provide the password. Once all these details are provided, you can save it. Okay. After saving it, no need to give the -a hyphen as automatic, as already we have given the username and password. We have a command like where you can run the single command to connect directly. Okay, SnowSQL -u Snowflake classes, right? This is the connection name I have given. Okay, this is the connection name. Connection start Snowflake classes where we have the account name. If you have the multiple Snowflake accounts and you want to connect directly means, so you can create the connection start Snowflake workplace. Snowflake, you can create that. It could be a different connections you can establish and you can execute those command directly. So let me save this. This is the connection I want to establish at a Snowflake classes. So to do that, this is the command SnowSQL -c is the connection, establish a connection with Snowflake classes. So this will internally uses whatever the username and password that I have provided in the config file. Instead of every time executing the -a -u parameters, so this will automatically uses, this connection automatically uses the username and this password and will try to connect with the SnowSQL. Let's try this. In order to quit from the all the databases, just give exclamatory and give it as a quit. Okay, And now let's exit over here as well. Now let's try to connect directly. So, so if you can see here, this is how, if required, actually we can make the default warehouse and the default schema which we need to use. So they have in the config file, if you can see here, there are few parameters where we can customize it as well. Okay, if you can see config file, what is the default warehouse that we need to use? We can configure it. What is the role name that we need to use? So we can configure few things like what is the schema name, database name, and this is not required. Why? Because we will be using on, we will be start working on a multiple databases and schemas. Usually we don't default to the warehouses, default to the schema names and databases. Just we will use the command use database, then database name, use schema and key schema name. This is how it works. This is how we are going to connect with the SnowSQL. Okay, so this is going to be important. Hope if everyone, I guess everyone had followed up this. It would be very difficult while working initially while installing and how we are going to configure and using the SnowSQL. Try to follow these steps. It is very easy process, simple process. Initially it may take lot time. Where the people get confused means, try to understand here. Earlier when we copied the account name, there is a dot. We need to replace dot with a hyphen. If you are not going to replace dot with a hyphen, you are going to get continuous error. It will take lot of time to debug this issue. This is where lot of people will try to get issue and will wait entire day to get it resolved to ask in the class. So I am updating you earlier. So once you copy the account name, the dot must be replaced with a hyphen. Okay, this is how we are going to connect with the SnowSQL and all. Tomorrow what we will do is we'll start using the put command. Using the put command, we will load files. We will load files into stage. From the stage to load files into the stage, from the stage to tables. So in order to load files from the stage to tables, we need to understand copy into command. This is the most powerful command. This is the most powerful command in the entire Snowflake. You need to understand each and every parameter which is present in the copy into command. Okay, now I missed to explain you one thing actually. So we have tried to load it everything from the web UI, right, earlier. So someone asked whether we can create the web UI from the databases from the web UI. Yes, actually we can create directly from the web UI other than using the SQL commands. If you can navigate to here, it will say, if you there is a plus icon, right? Just click on here. You can create the database directly from the web UI as well. You can give as a second DB. Just create. Second DB got created. We can create information schema and public schema. So if you can create the web UI, you can create the schema as well. So just create it. And as I said earlier, right, schema is nothing but a collection of all the database objects. You can create any kind of the database objects from the web UI. If you can see here, we can create the tables. Okay, the if you have the SQL from the file, which is already the end you have written, if you have copied entire file somewhere, you can from the file you can extract those entire definition and you can copy. You can from the file you can create the table. Okay. Similarly, we can create the views. We have a standard views and materialized views. The standard views and materialized can be either secured and unsecured. Okay, we will discuss when discussing about the views. What are the secure views? What is meant by secure materialized view? Which views can be shared in the data share, which cannot be shared. Okay, we can all these are going to be database objects: pipes, streams, tasks, procedures, functions. The dynamics tables are the new concept. Actually, it is going to store the query itself temporarily for the further processing. It's a very new feature. Actually, around 1 month back, it was into the public domain. Okay, task streams file format. We will all these are the database objects which can be created using the web UI. Okay, we can see here. Just go to the table. Just create it as a standard table. Okay, it will be navigated to the. This is the syntax that can be created. Okay, from the worksheet you can create the tables. Any doubts so far? How we are going to create? How we are going to load the data from the web UI? And what do you mean by SnowSQL? Any doubts? Oh, yeah.
Mohan, actually, you have extracted that configuration file from SnowSQL, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So, can you show me once how can we extract that and establish the connections?
Okay. If you can navigate to the config file, right? I think I have
Yeah,
provided
actually,
maybe.
do we have to create that file or we can
No, no, no.
extract directly?
Whenever we install the SnowSQL, the 1 second. Whenever we install the SnowSQL, config file will be available. Just you can right click on it, just open with the edit with Notepad++. Okay. Earlier, what
Okay.
happened is these it will be similar. The configuration file will be same as like this. Here you have the three fields. Connections dot. This field is the right, this section. Connections dot. You will get when you first install this. These are the parameters that you need to modify. Okay, just copying it here. These are the earlier it will be as a connections dot example. Okay, so you can give your own name. What is the connection name that you want to provide? You can provide your own name as per your requirement. So I have in order to establish a connection, I have given it as a Snowflake classes. Just for the demo, I have given it connection name as a Snowflake classes. If you have a multiple Snowflake accounts, then let us consider that I have a different Snowflake accounts. In order to establish connection for the second account, this is a migration account. We have another account. This is considered dev. Okay, Snow. This here you are going to be our username is going to be different, right? Move on. These are let us consider these have a different passwords, unique passwords, right? So account names will be different. Let us consider examples like these were based on region specific. So this time not trying to modify it. Okay, we have three different account names, right? We have a three different these are the three parameters that you need to modify. You need to provide your account name. Account name you are going to I have shown you, right, where from where you are going to get this account name. From there you need to fetch the account name and provide it here, and the username for your account you need to provide for the password. So while connecting to the SnowSQL, you need to execute the command like 1 second. SnowSQL -u. Yeah. So if you want to connect to the this account, SnowSQL hyphen SnowSQL Snowflake classes will be automatically it will take the account name, username, password from this connection, and it will establish a connection for this account. If you want to connect for the data migration account, so what you need to give is, if you have a multiple accounts working on a different accounts, NoSQL hyphen C, if you want to connect to the data migration, so once you execute this command NoSQL hyphen C data migration, it will fetch the details from this. It will consider this account name and username and password, and it will connect to the for this user this account will get connected. Similarly, if you want to connect to the dev, you need to provide the dev. So this connection or it will pick this account with this user and this password. Automatically this account will be it will be logged into this account for this particular user. Okay, these are the three parameters that you need to modify in the configuration file and save it. in order to connect directly instead of using the -a, -u every time.
Okay, Mohan.
Yeah, hope you are able to
Yes.
get that, right?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, any doubts? Tomorrow we will work with the patterns. We will refer patterns and regular expressions where we can load the pattern file matchings. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Good day ahead.
Yeah, Mohan.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, please.
Yeah, I have one small query.
Yes,
So
yes.
while creating a table, right? So in consider a real-time scenario. So let's take I have a table data. So the columns is like 100 columns.
Okay.
So in order to create 100 columns in a Snowflake, so is
Mhm.
there any alternate method, or do I need to input all 100 columns? I mean 100 attributes.
No, there is no alternative. We need to in the initial in during the you have 100 columns, right? Actually, Snowflake doesn't
Okay.
understand what are your 100 different columns, right? We need to give the SQL itself as we have discussed, right? One second. So you are mentioning that while creating these are the 100 columns, right? You are saying serial number, employees.
Yeah, metadata.
Yeah, you need to
Yes, yes, yes,
provide.
yes.
Yeah, Snowflake doesn't understand what is the data type that this column is going to have, right? You need to view all the columns with all the different the data type that you are going to use, and you need to execute it. That's the only way that you need to create.
Okay. So yeah, okay.
The columns will be. I mean to say, just try to understand I mean to say in the business perspective. So what are the
Mhm.
columns that we are going to use? It will be different from business to business. I mean to say client to client, different from business to business. And what kind of
Yeah.
data that you are going to insert into that column? It's very specific to your business requirement, right? So Snowflake cannot
Yes.
understand what is the exact business logic behind the data that you are going to store. So we need to ask and
Mhm.
enforce the Snowflake. This is the column name that you need to create with this particular data type. This is the particular type of data that I am going to insert into this column. So there is no
Okay.
other option. We need to give the 100 column names and 100 column data types to create that particular table.
So explicitly we have to give the column names
Exactly.
to create
Yeah.
the table.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
Okay.
That's perfect. Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any doubts? Thank you all. If I am not replying for your pings, kindly apologize me. Actually, I am occupied with lot of work these days. So we'll try to revert you meanwhile when I get free time. Okay. Thank you all. Good day ahead.